Next on Worcester News tonight, on your mark, get set, go. Marathon Monday attracts thousands. We speak to runners from Central Mass. Plus, a local nurse helps save a life high in the sky. We'll explain next. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tim McCone. Helping save a life at 30,000 feet. A nurse from UMass Memorial Medical Center is being credited for helping a passenger in a medical emergency aboard a flight this weekend. About a half an hour into Nurse Jane Salerno's flight home from vacation Saturday night, another passenger went into cardiac arrest. After the man was brought to the front of the plane, Palermo, along with another passenger who was an EMT and a flight attendant, discovered the man had no pulse. They quickly gave him CPR and used a defibrillator to get the man breathing again. They made an emergency stop in Cleveland, and the man was taken off the plane breathing under his own power. Palermo says her instincts took over.
Swept right into it, you know. I didn't even think about it. I think if I had to think about it, I would have been a little bit more nervous. But because I just got up and I went, you react, you do what you need to do so that the person, you know, is doing better.
There is no update yet on the passenger's health. Palermo believes everyone should learn CPR in case they find themselves in an emergency situation. Pretty remarkable stuff. Well, today was the 120th running of the Boston Marathon. It's one of the premier races in all of the world, and many from Central Mass shoot to qualify for it every year. 30,000 runners began the race from Hopkinton Center this morning, among them many from the Central Mass Striders group. We caught up with their president at the Athletes Village. He told us Marathon Monday is always a special day.
So home and so important, and it seems like, you know, friends that I have from all over the country want to come here and run this race as well.
Andy Madison has the stories of some of the local runners in this year's marathon.
There was nervous energy in the air at Athletes Village this morning as runners arrived for this year's Boston Marathon.
I want to finish and feel good, and I'll be pretty happy.
You have all those butterflies in your stomach, just like everything along the way.
Dan and Katie Foley from Uxbridge are running together. They're part of Teddy's team, raising money for the American Heart Association. Katie is running in the marathon for the second time.
Katie swore after 2012 she would never do this again, but last year her mom actually had a stroke, so this is why she's back. She's here to represent her mom this year, and she's going to kick butt.
They start here in Hopkinton, and hopefully they cross the finish line in Boston. Runners we spoke with say the toughest part of training is the last couple of days leading up to the marathon.
I was a little more nervous yesterday. Today I think it's here, so kind of can't do anything about it. So, you know, I'm excited. It's a nice day, so I think that's helping to calm the nerves a bit.
I was very calm until last night, and then this morning the anxiety hit, which I think happens to so many people, but I'm feeling okay right now.
They've put in several months of training.
Start early December, every Saturday. If you can, you're out there with your team on the course running, and then during the week it's just a couple days a week you're either on the treadmill or out in the snow or out in the rain.
All leading up to a 26-mile journey to the finish line on Patriots Day.
You know, it's an individual race, but today you're one in 30,000 people.
Andy Madison, Worcester News Tonight.
Well, you couldn't help but notice the large security presence at this year's marathon. Law enforcement had been working for months to ensure the marathon ran smoothly. There was no specific threat against the race, but thousands of officers were along the course, and many more were in a command center paying close attention to every detail of the race. Our Brittany Schaefer has the story.
Framingham is along the route for the Boston Marathon and is home to the Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency. They have gathered here today to monitor security for the race.
It's a good feeling, though, seeing the heightened security.
Carrie Conti and Linda Luthman both ran the Boston Marathon in 2013 and remember the fear they both felt when hearing 2 bombs had exploded near the finish line.
It was so sad, and we were worried about all the team members that were still out on the course, hoping that everybody was safe.
Nobody really knew what was happening, and once we started to hear the rumors and the reports and all kinds of craziness that surrounded it, it was really scary.
Since the tragedy, security around the marathon has increased. More than 60 agencies were at the Framingham bunker Monday, keeping a close eye on every step of the race.
Everything from monitoring the cameras that are out on the course to looking at social media, being very close contact with the 8 communities that are along the course.
Peter Judge is the public information officer at MEMA. He says there were more than 5,000 law enforcement officers lining the course, and all possible threats were quickly dismissed.
Reports of a random bag, backpack or something being left in an area, and within minutes we have local officials, bomb sniffing dogs showing up, inspecting them, and right now it's turned out to be somebody's laundry, runner's clothes.
Judge says the numerous agencies get together and perform practice exercises months in advance to prepare for the marathon.
Coincidentally, in 2012 the scenario was actually a bomb explosion at the finish line. And it was a year before the actual bomb. But that being said, we learned a number of things from that exercise that I think minimized, if you will, the impact of the actual explosion.
Runners like Conti say the added security is necessary, and she feels better knowing it is there.
I think now you need security. It's a different world than it was, and I feel safe.
In recent years, MEMA has almost tripled the amount of staff they've had for this event. In Framingham, Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
A Hollywood heavyweight was spotted at the marathon finish line. Monday morning, Mark Walhberg and producers filmed scenes for the upcoming movie Patriots Day. The film chronicles the 2013 marathon bombing and the subsequent manhunt for the Tsarnaev brothers. The movie, which also stars Kevin Bacon and John Goodman, most recently filmed in Somerville at the home of MIT police officer Sean Collier. Patriots Day is due in theaters next January. 4 men are facing charges for holding up a Mobil station in Worcester. Officers responded to this gas station on Mill Street around 2:30 Monday morning for reports of shots fired. A few minutes later, a vehicle matching the description of the car observed at the scene was pulled over. 4 men were arrested and a loaded handgun was recovered. Well, a milestone in the city. City Council appoints the first woman to serve as city clerk. Susan Ledoux will be the next city clerk. She has worked in the clerk's office for 33 years and has served as the assistant to former city clerk David Rushford since 2006. Rushford announced his retirement back in March and recommended Ledoux for the position. She says she's excited to begin and credits hard work to her success.
I'm surprised by it a little bit because I never expected it. You never dream that you're going to be a city clerk, but I just worked hard and this is the results.
Ledoux will officially begin in May. She will be the first woman city clerk in the city's 168-year history. Unsightly graffiti is removed from the Perryville Road Bridge. Webster Police teamed up with the Worcester County Sheriff's Office anti-graffiti unit to clean up the vandalism. As you can see from the pictures, it looks as good as new. The unit even removed some trash from the river with assistance of a fisherman. There is an ongoing investigation into the vandalism. Charges against 1 individual are pending. Well, a collaborative effort to move and preserve a historic tavern in the city. Stearns Tavern is one of the 2 taverns remaining in the city. Its construction dates back to 1812. Today, Preservation Worcester is working to move the historic building to a new home. Our Olivia Lemon has more details.
Monday marks day 1 of interior demolition at the historic Stearns Tavern in Worcester. The demolition is in preparation of the building moving to the Coes Pond area in a few months.
We take our time, come in and actually dismantle portions of the building, keeping in mind that we need to preserve the historical portions of the building.
Jimmy Ricciardi and his team are volunteering their time to demolish the interior of the more than 200-year-old building. It was most recently used as a bank. Ricciardi says the building was already renovated once, so 90% of the construction is modern, making it easier to demolish.
You have to have some knowledge of how the buildings are constructed in order to do the selective demolition, especially without damaging the existing structure.
What we're actually going to be demolishing is bank apparatus, the teller booths, the bulletproof windows.
Deborah Packard is the executive director of Preservation Worcester. She says this won't be the first move for the tavern. The building, listed on the National Register of Historic Places, was moved once before in the 1970s from Main Street to Park Ave.
Some of the supporting items that were put into the building for the first move are still in place, which will make it a little easier to move the building and also gives us great confidence that it can be moved relatively easily.
The building, when relocated, will be used by the Seven Hills Foundation. Packard says they are not sure who will move the building, but the city does have grant money to pay for the move.
You don't want to leave a building empty, and we have a use that benefits the disabled community as well as citizens of Worcester.
Like to see that new life in an old building.
Olivia Lemon,